Our Spiritual Nutrition, Section 3, A New Form of Meditation. Going home means getting centered. The universal intelligence has taught me a new way to meditate. It is called going home, to illustrate the idea of consciously connecting with our Creator via our guide. One of the best ways to learn about ourselves is to meditate in this new way. That means getting centered and paying attention to our thoughts. This takes practice, lots of practice. But as my guide says to me whenever I'm learning a new skill, practice makes progress. What makes this technique different? You may be aware at some level that there is an angel or guide with you, but did you know we can communicate with them and they with us? Going home practices two-way telepathic communication with our guide. This means paying attention to our thoughts rather than shutting them down in a quest for silence. Having the intention to stop thinking can actually prevent this two-way communication. This technique builds spiritual self-awareness, which is the ability to know why we think the things we think, thoughts, believe the things we believe, beliefs, and especially why we do the things we do, behaviors. Food for thought. Prayer is one-way communication, us talking to Source. Meditation or going home is two-way communication, us talking to Source, and Source talking to us. What are the goals? The aim is to concentrate on paying attention to our thoughts so we may practice two-way communication with our guide. As we learn to identify our thought patterns, we see where work is needed to resolve inner conflicts. This enables us to gradually reduce our negative thoughts and increase our positive thoughts. Before beginning a session, with this method, the many requirements of some other forms of meditation become obsolete. Especially, there is no need to stop thinking. Stopping or blocking our thoughts prevents the purposeful two-way communication that will help us find enlightenment. All we need is the desire and intent to allow our guide to work with us. Our physical body has a way of interrupting or disturbing our conscious thoughts, so get fully comfortable. If we are hungry, our thoughts will focus on food. If we are thirsty, they will focus on liquids. If we are full, our body will focus on digestion. If our muscles are tense, we will move around trying to find a comfortable position. So scratch all your itches, blow your nose, or rub your eyes if needed. In other words, make sure all your physical needs are taken care of to give yourself every possible advantage. Once you are settled and comfortable, aim to close your eyes. This will help avoid focusing on objects outside yourself and allow you to focus more easily on your thoughts. When and how often should it be done? Aim to practice going home twice daily, once upon awakening and again before going to sleep. Twice daily meditation helps develop the pattern of regular communication with your guide. After a week or two, you will be able to find your centered space quite easily. Once we come to rely on our guide's presence, going home becomes second nature. We need only ask for assistance with whatever we are doing. If we have a question to which we don't know the answer, we can ask our guide. We can communicate with our guide at any time of day or night, under any circumstances. If we can hear our thoughts, we can hear our guide. What about protection from negative energies? No protection is needed because there is no such thing as negative energies. How long should a session last? Spend 5 to 10 minutes, or as long as you are comfortable and able to stay focused on hearing your thoughts. If you lose focus or forget to pay attention for a few seconds, simply return to listening. Listen as if your thoughts are words being spoken by someone else. Falling asleep when starting out is normal, so try to be patient with yourself throughout the learning process. After all, it takes time and effort to learn any new skill. What can happen when I am centered? Pay close attention to your mind and body. Your thoughts may sound different once you are centered, or you may feel your energy change. Your guide may also give you physical signals to confirm their presence. Eyes closed. If you are comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and do so. You are in the right space when your eyelids flutter lightly. One of the special effects that can happen when we go home is a visual impression in our mind's eye of what I call swirlies. This is a series of colored lights and shapes that shrink, grow, and move across our field of vision in our thoughts, as if the inside of our eyelids were a projection screen. It is beautiful to see and is a signal from our guide that we have reached our centered space. Sometimes in meditation, the guides will use words like thee, thy, or thou when working with us. Other times, they may address us as child of God or simply child. This is not meant in any way other than lovingly and respectfully. When this happens, it is unmistakable that it is the universe speaking and not just our own thoughts. We can be certain there is specific information waiting for us, and questions need to be asked in order to access it. Then we need to work with our guide to fully understand the message. Eyes open. If you are not comfortable closing your eyes, you may leave them open. However, this can indicate an unresolved issue that may prevent you from achieving the best possible results. Open eyes can make it harder to focus on your thoughts. Also, your eyelids will not flutter, and it may be more difficult to see the swirlies or visions your guide may wish to show you. Aim to create a safe place where you can relax with your eyes closed. Start with a few seconds and gradually build up to meditating comfortably with your eyes closed. Whether your eyes are open or closed, pay close attention to your mind and body. Your thoughts may sound different once you are centered, or you may feel your energy change. Your guide may also give physical signals such as warmth, coolness, shivers, tiredness, or even sneezing. How to go home. Meditate. Exercise 1. Get centered. Going home requires getting centered. The goal of this exercise is to find your center, pay attention to your thoughts, and gain a sense of peace and harmony, even if only for a few moments. Paying attention to your thoughts is an important step in gaining spiritual self-awareness and changing thought patterns. This is achieved by finding a place of calm within yourself. Go there simply by being willing. It may sound too simple, but it really is just that easy. Begin by finding a quiet place where you can be undisturbed for 5 to 10 minutes. Once you are comfortably settled, take a slow, deep breath in and gently let it out. Ask for assistance. Direct your request to the universal intelligence, then pay attention to your thoughts. Being centered can also be called observation mode, where we simply pay attention to everything happening around us and within us. You may find it helpful to ask the universal intelligence for assistance when you begin. There is no need to breathe in any particular way, but focusing on your breathing can help you go within. No special equipment or materials are needed. If you choose, you may light a candle or play soothing music to help you relax, but nothing is required except the desire to communicate. No rituals are necessary. In fact, rituals can indicate fear, the belief that something terrible will happen if the ritual is not performed. When ritual becomes habit driven by fear, it becomes superstition. Aim to maintain the centered state for gradually longer periods of time, even up to 30 minutes if your schedule allows. What happened? What did you experience? Was there a message? Were there colors or images? Did you feel warmth, cold, tiredness, relaxation, or peace? If there seemed to be only a jumble of thoughts, try to recall and record at least a few of them. Actions. Whatever is experienced, questions must be asked to find the correct interpretation and to gain full understanding. Why? Because the spiritual law of free will requires the universal intelligence to tell us what we want to hear or what we already believe to be true. Therefore, it is up to us to consciously set aside our preconceived ideas and beliefs. Recognizing our beliefs becomes crucial when working to change our thought patterns. Use a notepad. Record your experiences in a journal. This will help you remember your journey towards spiritual self-awareness. Information that does not make sense now may become clear later as your understanding grows. Even small details can be important parts of the message. Keep paper and a pen nearby when meditating or sleeping so you can record information while it is fresh. Use a dictionary. If a word keeps repeating in your thoughts, look it up in a dictionary and review all possible meanings. Then ask your guide which meaning applies and listen for the answer. Sometimes the meaning your guide intends is not the one we would normally assume. Exercise 2. Once you can find your centered space more easily and have become accustomed to listening to your thoughts, it is time to begin asking questions. Start with simple, straightforward questions. For example, what is my guide's name? How many guides are working with me? What is my soul name? When in a centered state, ask your guide to address you by your soul name. Listen closely. If you do not hear it, ask your guide to spell it for you, one letter at a time if necessary. Please note, soul names are not from any earth language. They are in the universal language of truth. What is my soul's purpose in this lifetime? Finding your soul's purpose may not be simple. If you hold strong fears or beliefs, the universal intelligence will not interfere because of the spiritual law of free will. Your guide may therefore be obliged to tell you exactly what you want, expect, or fear to hear. Take carefully formed questions into meditation and work with your guide to find universal truth. Remember to ask for assistance while getting centered, and then ask your question. Listen to your thoughts for at least 15 to 30 seconds after each question. Also pay attention to your body, as your guide may use physical signals to communicate. One of the first questions I asked my guide was, "Why didn't you protect me?" No answer came, though I did not truly expect one. Even if they had answered, they might have said, "That is not our job." Hearing that might have angered me and discouraged me from continuing. Since then, the universe has taught me that certain life experiences are required for our growth, and our guide ensures that we encounter them. What happened? Was there a message? Were there colors or images? Did you feel warmth, cold, tiredness, relaxation, or peace? If there was only a jumble of thoughts, try to recall and record at least a few of them. Journal your experiences. Actions. Whatever is experienced, questions must be asked to find the correct interpretation and gain full understanding. Because of the spiritual law of free will, guides must tell us what we want to hear or what we already believe to be true. Therefore, we must consciously set aside our preconceived ideas and beliefs. Recognizing our beliefs becomes essential when working with our guide. It is helpful to keep a notepad and dictionary nearby.